Hi friends, it's Katie. Today I want to talk about the great Strepidemic of May 2017. Actually, it wasn't great at all. It was horrible. 2 people in my family got strep. I probably had it as well at some point, but I think my body flushed it. I started to shoot a little video last week while we were kind of all still in the trenches, but I ended up stopping because I felt like poop. So we're going to show a little bit of that, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about kind of what we did during our week of the plague. Our house got hit pretty hard. 2 members of the family have strep. I probably had it, and the rest of us, the other 2, are just full of snot. So I kind of wanted to talk about what it looked like, because it's probably the sickest she's ever been, and it's been miserable. So I wanted to share what we've done and how it's been going for us and what we've been doing to try to kind of help put her a little bit, make her a little more comfortable. So as you can see, I was definitely not really feeling very well, not quite up to par. So we decided to just go ahead and stop that video and wait until I was feeling a little bit better. As I mentioned, so my oldest got strep throat, and then a few days later my husband went in and was diagnosed with strep throat. I actually went in the next day to be checked to be sure, because strep throat, as I'm sure most of you know, is nothing to fiddle around with. Number one, it's horribly painful and awful. So, I mean, most people aren't going to sit at home and be like, I don't want to go to the doctor. But it's nasty. But anyway, strep is a bacterial infection that can be knocked out with antibiotics, but it's super important if you think you have strep to go have it checked out. And this was actually brought home to us in a personal way because a really close family friend of ours had strep as a younger girl, and it wasn't treated, and now in her 60s has led to heart problems due to undiagnosed strep throat that caused permanent damage in her body. So whenever there's the possibility with sore throat and all that, that's one of those things that I will run right off to the doctor for. So we definitely went and got her tested as soon as I realized that this wasn't just a nasty cold. Once I realized this wasn't just a cold, because for a few days prior, actually, she had been sick. She had a runny nose and a slight fever, nothing too crazy. And she had actually gotten sick in the night and thrown up, and I thought, well, maybe it's just the flu. And then the fever broke and she started feeling better, and I thought, great, awesome, she's feeling better. But then a couple days later, the fever returned, and when I talked to the nurse at the doctor's office, they said, you need to come in. A fever that comes back is usually indicative of a secondary infection, which would make sense because as soon as the fever returned, it wasn't just the 99, the 99, 100. It was like 101, 102 degrees. I have helpers here today. It wasn't the 99 or 100 degrees. It was actually getting up to like 102 and 102 and a half. And that's when I start to pay really close attention. And so we went into the doctor, and it was actually almost 103 when we got there. So we went not a moment too soon. And the doctor said, I think you have strep throat. And she's sitting here going, I feel fine. I feel fine. She's shivering, 103 degree temperature, I feel fine. What they did to test is they got the really long Q-tips, and the nurse was really great. She actually let my oldest touch it and see what it felt like. And she explained step by step what was going to happen. My oldest was definitely not interested, not having it, but that helped that she got to touch the Q-tip and kind of understand what was going to happen. And I actually also said, hey, would it help your feelings if I let her do it to me? Nah, not really so much. But anyways, we got it done. They swabbed down in her throat, and when she pulled it out, there was mucus on it, and she said, look, what does that look like? And my oldest goes, it looks like toots. Toots is what she calls germs. It's from a Curious George episode from years ago. Now it's stuck, I guess. Anyway, fortunately, they do the rapid strep test. Within 5 minutes, we knew that she had strep. The doctor came in and prescribed a 10-day round of the amoxicillin. It's the liquid stuff that tastes like bubblegum, cherry cake, whatever, so kids will actually drink it. So we picked it up, that was on Friday, and started the 10-day round. Now I wish it had been just as easy as starting the antibiotics, but unfortunately it wasn't. Coupled with this was a nasty, nasty cough. I mean, like coughing so hard she's turning kind of red, and she's got junk in her chest, and the congestion was probably a secondary cold, I'm guessing, or remnants of the flu maybe that she had before. But fortunately, I actually had some prescribed Robitussin cough syrup that after the first night, I realized nobody's going to get any sleep if this continues. And so I had some prescribed Robitussin cough syrup for her from a different time. And I called the nurse and asked if I could give that to her. And I think it's the stuff that has the codeine in it. And they said yes, because amoxicillin, fortunately, doesn't have many interactions. It's pretty easily mixed with other drugs if necessary. And so it was actually on night 3 that we started it, because I was desperate for sleep, and we were desperate for her to get some sleep too, because it was bad. But anyways, I wanted to show you, we took a little video kind of in the middle of the strepidemic of what we had done in my daughter's room to kind of help alleviate some of the symptoms and try to help her feel a little bit better. We elevated her mattress, we had a humidifier going, she had her very own box of tissues. She felt like a very big girl. So we've got her room set up a little bit. These are mostly tricks that I've learned from the internet, but we've got her room set up for helping with the cough, which has been really, really horrible at night. So the 2 things we've got going on in her room that I wanted to show you is down here we've got a cool mist humidifier, and this is great because it allows you can either do just a little bit of steam, or you can crank the steam, and I've got it blowing up right onto her mattress now, or right up onto her face. Now she probably doesn't like feeling wet all night, but I think it's better than being kind of dry. The other thing I've got going on here is underneath her mattress, I've got some pillows from the couch that are, you can kind of see her messy bed, but it's at an angle to try to help with some of the drainage, instead of having not being able to breathe out of your nose. I think it's helped a little bit, but the last few nights have been pretty bad, so hoping that the medicine kicks in soon and tonight will be a little bit better. But we'll talk a little bit more about what we've been doing and how we got the diagnosis and all that. So those are some of the things that we did in my daughter's room. I think it helped, but to be perfectly honest, in this situation, I mean, I know that humidifier and all that is helpful, but in this situation, the antibiotics are really where it's at. So I'm super grateful that we live in a day and time where we can get tested for this stuff and get antibiotics. So we got those going. We've done a lot of homemade chicken soup. My daughter loves the vitamin water zeros, the ones that are sweetened with stevia. So we got a bunch of those and have let her have way more of that than usual. But after the medicine and the soup and all that, fortunately we are all feeling quite a bit better. And yeah, as you can tell, I don't sound like I'm dying anymore. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that none of you have strep, or none of your babies have strep, because it was not a lot of fun. But take heart, antibiotics will help and get you feeling better pretty soon. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. We'd love for you to check out our channel, like our videos, hang out with us, be a part of our group, and we have a Facebook page and a blog if you'd like to check those out. Thanks again, you guys. Have a great day, and best of health to all of you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
No, when you had strep throat, how did you feel?
I just felt terrible.
Did your throat hurt?
Yes.
Oh no. When they found out you had strep throat, did they ask you to open your throat, open your mouth?
Yeah, and they tickled me, and I didn't like it.
And what did they find?
They found mucus.
Mucus, okay. And what was on that mucus?
Toots.